This is probably the most recent game on this series. This is Dragon Quest XI, and I almost didn't play this game. I'm Sexy Jesus, this is why I love DQ11. I've always been interested in the Dragon Quest series. Like, I remember even being like a kid and seeing like, I think it was 7 or 8, like in the stores all the time. It was one of those games where it was always like, I would get to it eventually, but I never did. Then years later, Dragon Quest XI went on Game Pass, so I thought, screw it. I always heard good things about Dragon Quest, so I figured that was the time to hop in. But to my surprise, I didn't really like it at first, I'll admit. It didn't really, like, grab me. Like, I played through, like, the first tutorial section, I think like, I got to, like, the first city, and I just kind of stopped playing for a while. And then I think I gave it a second shot, and then I just stopped playing for, like, I think a month. But eventually, third time's the charm, the game actually hooked me. Even though it took a while, I guess I finally just I guess I just understood the game. Like, when I first started, I didn't really enjoy the soundtrack, and like, the accents on the characters seems almost like a parody. Like, a majority of the characters have have a very strong English accent, almost as if they're making fun of it. But then over time, I understood the charm. That's the point in the game. It's this fantasy game with sort of a serious story, but it's also kind of goofy and fun at the same time. The art style of the game is amazing. Like, I'm sure everyone who makes a video of this says it. Oh, it's Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball. You can tell right off the bat because the main character looks just like Trunks. The music did eventually grow on me. I found myself humming it quite a bit. The characters I fell in love with, like the hero character. Like, you get a story, he's a Luminary, you gotta go fight the big bad and clear your name and become the hero. But he's also silent, which just made me wonder, like, they didn't just have a character creation and let you do that. I really didn't feel very attached to him. I understand the silent protagonist is supposed to be you. It's supposed to be from your perspective, but I didn't really get that. He just seemed like the dude who never talks and does cool stuff. But I did eventually warm up to him. I like the Luminary quite a bit. The Luminary is sort of the warrior type, and he also dabbles in magics. Then you have Erik, who's like the cunning rogue and the best friend. And he also seems kind of mysterious, like he's got some stuff in the background we don't know about. He's really cool. Then you have the twins, Veronica and Serena. Veronica being the hothead, Serena being the calm, quiet one. So Veronica's also cursed, as she's like 5 years old now for whatever reason. Veronica and Serena, they are the wizard and the healer, respectively. Then you have Sylvando, who's honestly the best character. He's so, like, obnoxiously flamboyant, and he has these great one-liners. He's great. I love Sylvando. So he's sort of the buff/debuffer. He's more of a support character. I'm not really sure what we would call him. Then we go to Rab, who's sort of the wise old man of the group, and he's the sage. He's one of those characters you can kind of turn into anything. He can be a healer, damage, just straight up mage, however you want. He's great. You have Jade, who's like the only character who doesn't use magic, and she's just straight up focused on fighting. Also a great character. I know there's some controversy with her. I don't know why. It's just because she's like the strong character, but yet you could still like build her to be like flirtatious, even though that's not her character at all. But sort of a Japanese anime thing. They're gonna have some sort of flirtatious female character, and it's certainly not going to be Veronica and Serena. It just doesn't fit her personality whatsoever. To where Jade, a strong, attractive woman, can still use her looks to her advantage. Honestly, my biggest complaint with her is that she doesn't get as much character growth as the others, but she's still really cool. There's also an 8th character, but I'm not going to talk about them because that's a spoiler, but they're a great character as well. I honestly feel like this is one of the best turn-based RPGs I've ever played. Not gonna lie. Like, I don't really feel like it does anything, like, new to a degree. It's just a really good turn-based RPG. The crafting system is actually pretty interesting. Like, you get the pieces and stuff, Like, you get your materials, but it's actually sort of a mini game of you, like, smelting the armor or weapon you're making. For the most part, it's a pretty easy. You're just trying to get like the bar up to the degree of they want you to get it to. I really didn't have any trouble with this until like the later game when you're getting like more like really strong gear. The story itself, I'd say it's not really like anything new either. The one thing you'll notice with the story though is that it doesn't want to end. Every time you think you're beating the game, nope, it just keeps going. I'd say for the majority of the game, like if you've played turn-based RPGs, you're not really gonna have any trouble with this until like towards the end. Like there's some hard fights up towards the end, like some really tough ones. I'll just say that I was like max level, and it still wasn't done with them. I was max level when I beat the game, so there's some fights that get really hard. I really enjoyed the environments of the game. Like all the cities have different themes. Like when you first start out, you'll get the standard like exaggerated English accents, and then you'll end up in like a Spanish city, and an Italian city, even a city where everyone speaks in haiku. Everywhere you go is fun. Like you're obviously interested in the story and what's happening, but it's just kind of done in like a fun way. You can tell they definitely kept to tradition. I think that's sort of Dragon Quest thing. They kind of just keep the same things. It's just a good old-fashioned turn-based RPG. I would almost say that this would be a good game, like, starting out. Like, if you never played a turn-based RPG, start out with this, because it's so good. I try to get my friends to play, like, turn-based games, but they won't, because it's too slow or whatever. But see, the one argument I will make to you is that you have to give a turn-based RPG time. These games get funner, stronger, and farther you get into the game. Like for this, I'll just say it was boring at first because you're literally just taking turns doing like 2 points of damage. Not very fun, alright? Once you get a full party on the field and you have different elements, you have hills, you have magics, you have all this stuff, that's where it really comes alive. It feels really nice. And when you get into the more complicated fights where you actually have to think. Because let's be honest, most fights in turn-based RPGs, you're just grinding. You're just spamming the attack button. I feel like that's probably an issue for some people trying to get into these games, but trust me, just give it time. You'll like it. There's tons of side quests. You'll be busy doing side quests for quite a while. A fun thing to collect was the secret outfits. All the characters have all these secret outfits. Sometimes they're pretty obvious to find, others you actually have to go out and really look for. They're pretty hard to find. That's about the only bit of like customization, like appearance-wise, you're gonna get from this. I do wish some characters did get more outfits though. Like Rab just kind of got screwed. He really didn't get anything all that interesting. But they made sure to give Jade and Serena like all the good stuff. And if you didn't have Jade rocking the Playboy Bunny outfit, I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, the story is really nothing you haven't seen before, though they do spice it up a bit here and there. It definitely, like, towards the end, it does some unexpected stuff. Like I said, all the characters are really good, and they all tend to get their own moments to shine. Even Jade, like I said, she doesn't get too much character development, but she does have at least some form of arc. When it comes to your actual skills and stuff, you do get quite a bit of stuff you can do with your characters. You're probably going to focus Veronica on, like, strictly magic, but if you do have the option to switch it to like whips if you want. Serena, she could use spears opposed to wands. I feel like the majority of people is just gonna stick with like their base class, but I appreciate having the ability to swap out if you want. You can also carry different weapons, so if you're doing like a multi-class thing, for example, if you're making like Luminary more tanky and you have them holding a sword and shield, and the fight calls for more offense, you could switch them out to a two-hander weapon if you want. You just have to make sure you give your characters their weapons. You have to make sure it's in their inventory, because they all have separate inventories, and through a good part of the game I didn't realize that. I was just putting everything in the main inventory, and nobody had anything. Oh, it's getting pretty bad. Oh, Erik has mushroom. That's all he has. The gambling minigames in this are really good. Alright. The prizes for the tokens they have Usually you don't quite know exactly what they are, or they're really expensive. Let me tell you, played slots for hours to get a sexy bikini outfit for Jade, and it was worth it. I don't know like what the proper like character setup is. I just sort of split mine into two. Like, on team 1, I think I just had like Luminary, Erik, Veronica, and Serena. And the other team I had Rab, Sylvando, Jade, and mystery character. Now that setup took me a while though. Like I went through probably well over half the game till I found teams that really worked together well. I feel like Jade probably became my best character. She did so much damage. When your character gets a critical hit on an enemy just by slapping them with her butt cheek, you're obviously doing something right. This game has so much like humor. Like there are moments where it's like, oh, it's really sad or it's really like intense. Like you really don't know what's gonna happen. But for the most part, the game is fun. It's silly. Trying to go and get a puff puff in every town. What's a puff puff? Well, you'll just have to find out. I'm just really glad I gave this game the time it needed. Like, if I would have like just uninstalled this game like after the first like couple tries of playing it, I would have missed out on like a great adventure. Before it started to pick up and get interesting, just every day, like, oh, I can't wait to get home and play Dragon Quest tonight. That was me for like 6 months, alright? I completed this game 100%. I mean, maybe not like every single thing, but I got like all the achievements. I did the trials, I think. Yeah, this was just a game where I just decided I'm gonna do everything possible. Which surprisingly only took 160 hours, which seems like a lot, but compared to a lot of RPGs, that's actually not too bad. Also, I forgot to mention that later in the game you can marry your party members. You can only be married to one, but I made Jade my waifu for obvious reasons. But yeah, that's why I like this game. It's fun, it's silly, it's serious when it needs to be. There's some good character customization skill-wise, and the outfits are fun. And it's that game that doesn't want to end. You'll just keep going. If you're looking for something that's going to consume a lot of your time and just have something to play for a long while, definitely play this. It's great. If you're a fan of anime, you might also get into this. It's very much an anime style game. If you like turn-based games, yes, definitely. I don't know why you haven't played this sooner. I don't know why I haven't played this sooner. Jesus Christ. I like a lot of turn-based RPGs. Lost Odyssey, one of the best turn-based RPGs ever. Also, if you're new to turn-based RPGs, like you're wanting to get into it, I'd say start with this game. It's simple enough to learn. It will keep you busy for a while. Just give it time. In fact, any turn-based RPG you want to try out, make sure you give it time. It doesn't get like exciting like right off the bat. But yeah, I feel like I went through just about everything. Hopefully this video is long enough. I'm trying to keep these a little bit shorter. The last video ran way too long. So yeah, I guess that's about all I have to say. This is just a really good turn-based RPG, and I intend to go back and play the other games in the series, and I can't wait for 12. I know there was a teaser not too long ago, so hopefully we get a trailer at some point. So I'll end it here. Till the next video, guys. I'll see you. Yeah.